Pegasus and Bellerephon, Desumbolization, by Vasudendropoulou. Bellerephontis comes from the royal house of Corinth, son of Poseidon. He has a mortal father, Glaucus, the son of Sisyphus. His mother, Eurymedes or Eurynomie, is the daughter of the king of Megaronesus. His adventures begin with the accidental murder of a man, a tyrant in Corinth, Deliadus or Pyrene or Veleris, which also gives the etymology for the name, since Bellerephontis means the slayer of Veleris. After the murder, he left the city and went to Tiryns, to King Proetus, who excommunicated him. But Xenovia, the wife of Proetus, fell in love with him and asked him for a meeting, and after Bellerephon's refusal, she accused him to the king of wanting to seduce her. Proetus obeyed, and an old law which forbade one to kill a man who had eaten with him gave him a letter to take to his father-in-law Iobatus, king of Lycia, and in the letter he asked to kill him. After reading the letter, Iobatus ordered him to kill the chimera, a terrible monster, a lion in front, a dragon behind, with a goat's head that spewed fire from its mouth. This monster was ravaging the country and seized the flocks. Bellerephon rode Pegasus, the winged horse that sprang from the body of the dead Medusa after her union with Poseidon, and set off for Chimera. He found Pegasus drinking water from the fountain Pyrene, the double spring at Corinth, which rose high on the rocks of Acrocorinth, which is a big acropolis of Corinth, and also below at the beginning of the road that led to Lechion, the port of Corinth Gulf, and the sanctuary of Poseidon. Poseidon gave Pegasus to Bellerephon, but it was not easy to catch the water-drinking animal. After many attempts, he fell asleep, and then the goddess Athena spoke to him as if in reality, saying, "Are you sleeping, royal descendant of Aeolus?" Aeolus was the god of the wind. "Better take this magical thing, which tames horses, and show it to Father Poseidon, and in the meantime sacrifice a white bull to him." End quote. The young man jumped up and saw that he had fallen asleep near the altar of the goddess Athena. In his hand he held the golden bridle. He ran then to Polyidus the seer, and immediately after sacrificing to Poseidon, he also established an altar to Hippolyta, the goddess Athena. The hero rode the divine horse Pegasus and danced with it to honor the goddess, armed and danced the dance of weapons. Bellerephontis then rose up with the wondrous animal Pegasus and struck the chimera from above with his arrows. And geography shows him either with a sword or even with his father's trident in his hand. Angiography meaning the ancient Greek vases that used to have drawings on them. So angiography shows him with either a sword or even his father's trident, the trident that Poseidon used to hold in his hand. The king then asked him to fight against the beloved people of the gods, the Solims, whom he defeated, and then sent him against the Amazons. And when he returned victorious from his mission, and on his return he was ambushed by the best warriors of Lycia, whom he also defeated. Then the king recognized him as a son of the gods, gave him his daughter as a wife, and half the kingdom. Then he wanted to ascend with his horse to the sky and take part in the symposium of the gods. Did he ask heaven out of bitterness or vanity? Did he want to prove the existence of the gods? As Euripides tells us, the divine horse Pegasus overthrew his bold rider on the plain of Elion, the plain of the wanderer, where far in Asia Minor, which is today Western Turkey, he shunned men. Limping, he grieved for the fate of the mortals, while Pegasus, the immortal horse, brought the lightning to the king of the gods, or served the goddess Io, who brings the morning and seizes the young. He was received on Olympus in the ancient stables of the horses of the gods. Now, the desymbolization of all this. Bellerephon is a hero of Greek mythology who knows glory and happiness in his life. He rides to the sphere of divine majesty, but from where he is persecuted, seduced by his human weaknesses. In the most poetic poem, The Myth of Bellerephon, we recognize the inability of the human race to define its life. Man is obliged to remain within the limits of his power, which in no way no mortal can surpass. Not even Bellerephon, favored and beloved of the gods. Their love and sympathy quickly turns into anger and rage, which leads the hero to a tragic end. And what does Pegasus symbolize? It is an eternal symbol with timeless value over the centuries. Pegasus flies beyond limitations and conventions. For the Romans, the name meant power, and they combined it with immortality. Perhaps it's an archetype that serves beauty through the arts, such as poetry, painting, the written word. That is, we could consider it as an ideal pattern that repeats itself in different forms and is directly related to what we call creative imagination. We often talk about unbridled imagination, about imagination that gallops. Perhaps Pegasus can express many things such as freedom of thought, wandering in the flow of ideas, letting go and traveling in the soft clouds, and Syriani in the world, seeing things from above, touching the unconscious. It's one of the living points that their dynamics have made them pulsate in the course of time on a global semiotic level. We see Pegasus in such a mediating role between earth and heaven. Here, let's not forget that the goddess Athena, the goddess of wisdom, is the one who tamed Pegasus, since in a dream she gives Bellerephon a golden bridle. Only higher wisdom can tame the previously unbridled imagination and make it creative. Bellerephon, only riding Pegasus, defeats the Chimera, this monster that represents, as its name indicates, themapati, that is false and distorted part of the imagination. And Bellerephon, for many, was the son of Poseidon. It's the conscious part of our being, the man factor. The equestrian goddess Athena, to whom the seer advised Bellerephon to build the altar, together with Bellerephon himself, Pegasus, Chrysaora, and the Chimera form a chain, an inseparable quintet. And the top of the pentatech is the goddess Athena, who acts as a spiritual element. Chrysaor is the fiery element. Bellerephon is the airy element, since he traversed the ethers. Pegasus represents the water element, and finally the Chimera, the material side of things. The source is from the Mythology of the Greeks, Pierre Grimmel, Dictionary of Greek and Roman Mythology, and this is translated for you from the Greek article. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.